Welcome everybody to the game-breaking news. Ubisoft is on the list of big game companies showing up to E3 2020 this year from June 9th to the 11th in Los Angeles, California. I'm going to be watching it from the comforts of my trailer, and you guys can do the same, or you can travel out to Los Angeles there. Just watch out for the wildfires and fault lines. Another person who's not showing up to E3 is Jeff Keighley. He was talking smack about the direction E3 is headed in. He said he's not showing up or producing the E3 Coliseum sideshow this year because he doesn't like the direction that it's headed in. Well, guess what? I think he just wants the direction to head to the Game Awards. He's going to join the charge of people jumping ship from E3 so he can get all the announcements there at his Game Awards that he produces and hosts there. Far Cry New Dawn was announced at the Game Awards, so he thinks he's on to something, but guess what? He's not going to get the interviews from Ubisoft this year because they're going to E3 and Jeff Keighley ain't going to be there to talk to him. But you know who I'd like to talk to? I would like to talk to somebody working at Ubisoft and find out what's going on here with Far Cry 6. So that's what we're going to get into. I think that E3 is going to be really big for Far Cry. They're going to either announce it there or a little bit before E3. They're going to do a little teaser. They did that with Far Cry 5, okay? And I think they might do it with Far Cry 6 as well. Alright, so this is why I think E3 is going to be the big Far Cry 5 announcement, and if not at E3 in June, maybe in May beforehand. Let's look at the past here to learn about the future. That's what they told me in history class, okay, if I learned anything in school. So in May 16th, 2017, Ubisoft announced Far Cry 5 with an official forum post by a community developer before Ubisoft's financial call that same day. Industry analysts confirmed Far Cry 5 would release in the fiscal year ending that next March. Now that sounds very familiar to what I reported on previously on the channel about the earnings call. Jason Schreier was talking about saying Far Cry is going to be one of the 5 games Ubisoft releases at the latest March 2021, okay, but right now we're talking about 2017, okay. Then in May 26, 2017, 9 business days later, several trailers and cover art were released for Far Cry 5. Now in June 2017, Far Cry 5 was showed off at Ubisoft's E3 show. Now, okay, once again here, we got a June date for E3 2020. Okay, we're right on track here. Far Cry 5 was showed off at Ubisoft's E3 show, even though they did a little leaking and teasing beforehand. They showed it off at E3, and then February 27th, 2018 was the original release date before they pushed it back to March 27th, 2018. That's when Far Cry 5 was officially, finally released there. Okay, now let's look at some other release dates here. Let's go to Far Cry 4, November 18th, 2014, all the way back to 2014. God dang. Let's go to the way back time machine here. That was November 18, 2014. Now, let's check the pattern out here. Far Cry Primal was released 15 months later on February 23rd, 2016. Okay, that was a little over a year they had to make Far Cry Primal. Now, Far Cry Primal, if you guys remember, they took the same map from Far Cry 4 and just made it prehistoric times, or caveman times, whatever you want to call it, with saber-tooths and woolly mammoths and spears and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so they didn't need that much time to drum up Far Cry Primal. Okay, that's why it only took 15 months. And then they said after Far Cry Primal release, they said we're going to take our time here. We're going to take more than a year to release Far Cry 5, and that's what they did. 2 years later, from February 23rd to March 27th, 2018, that's almost a little over, almost exactly 2 years later, they released the Far Cry 5. Okay, now I think that this game here, Far Cry 5, was a big leap forward for the Far Cry franchise, okay? They added the Far Cry Arcade. I'm loving it, man. The Far Cry Arcade, it's a whole game within a game, endless content creation, multiplayer, co-op, anything and everything you want and can dream up, they can make it there in Far Cry 5 for you to enjoy. So they really went leaps and bounds ahead of themselves there with Far Cry 5 from Far Cry Primal and Far Cry 4, okay? Now, the latest, and what I will go out on a limb and say is not the greatest, is Far Cry New Dawn, alright? Now, I'm not the only one saying this. Far Cry New Dawn got a 71% on Metacritic for the PS4. Far Cry 5 got an 81% Metacritic for the PS4, okay? Not only that, but Far Cry New Dawn sales went down 86% from Far Cry 5. Alright, the people were not buying this Far Cry New Dawn compared to Far Cry 5. But like Far Cry Primal, it didn't take the money, the resources, the brain power to spit out Far Cry New Dawn. So they probably still made a profit. It was probably still worth it for them. They pooed Far Cry New Dawn out. Let's just say it like it is, okay? And that came out on February 15th, 2019. Now, let's look at the pattern here. Far Cry Primal, February 23rd, 2016. 2 years later, March 27th, 2018, Far Cry 5 comes out. Okay, a year after that, Far Cry New Dawn didn't take long to digest and plop out. February 15th. Okay, so the last 3 Far Cries have came out in either February or March. Now you're starting to see the pattern here. So what do you think is going to happen with Far Cry 6? They say at the latest it's coming out March 2021. That's 2 years. They needed 2 years from Far Cry Primal to spit out Far Cry 5, a great game there. So now they're going to take 2 years again for Far Cry 6. 2 years from February 15th approximately would be March 2021 or February 2021. Okay, we're right on track here. So I think it's not coming out any sooner than February or March. That only makes sense, okay? I could be wrong. This could be pushed back, sure. I mean, anything can happen here with these video game companies, all right, and what have you. But I think this is the track we're headed towards here, and I'm cool with that. Take 2 years and make another leap forward. You made a whole leap forward with Far Cry 5 and added arcade. You guys blew my mind, okay? So blow my mind again with Far Cry 6. You had 2 years to do it. That's all you guys have been doing, showing up for work 9 to 5, maybe even more. You're cramming and crunching and everything like that. So you guys better come up with something good, okay? I've only been thinking about this for the last 2 videos, okay? But you guys need to get to it. All right, and do it by February or March 2021 like we expected, okay? I believe you guys can do it. We'll see what you guys come up with, and I think it'll be great because Far Cry 5, I mean, it was great. Far Cry New Dawn, sure, it's solid, but it just wasn't, you know, it just wasn't, it had no map editor. It was a stripped down Far Cry 5. When you release a new game that has less than the last game, it's just disappointing and anticlimactic and kind of depressing, guys. But I understand what you're doing. You're getting your money. You could have released it as a DLC probably, but instead you're making it a full release. You get more money out of it. You guys are running a business. I understand it, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna buy it. All right, we're on the verge of another release here from Far Cry 5, the big one, the good one, the 2-year work in progress. Okay, it's gonna be good. I have faith in Ubisoft in the Far Cry franchise. So let's count down the top 5 Far Cry reveals of all time, okay? Starting at number 5, we got the Far Cry Primal reveal. It was leaked by IGN Turkey. Come on, god dang. IGN Turkey, what are y'all doing out there? God man. But thank you anyway for that, because I can't wait any longer to find out about these Far Cries. If you guys want to leak a little something for Far Cry 6, I'm cool with that too, okay? Far Cry Primal and Ubisoft, they had a whole little live stream going on where they're teasing a new game they had. They didn't say it was going to be Far Cry or not, and then Far Cry Turkey must have knew about it. They must have had some kind of information they were privy to working with the game company. They probably set IGN up to have the first scoop on it, okay, and then they accidentally thought they were probably releasing it when they saw their live stream, and they confused themselves, and then they ended up spilling the beans on them. It happens. So number 4, we have Far Cry 4 E3 reveal causes controversy and accusations of racism. Cover art was released, and they had the dude in the pink suit like palming the head like Shaq does to a basketball, but on the little brown dude's head, and a lot of sensitive people thought it was racist for some odd reason. Just because a brown dude was getting his head palmed by another dude who I think was brown or lighter brown or something, so they had them all up in a tizzy. I think that controversy is good sometimes, if it gets people talking and debating and learning and everything like that, that's good. So if Far Cry video game can be the spark for that, then more power to them, and hopefully we all learn from that experience. But it was quite entertaining and quite interesting and a little stupid if you ask me. At number 3, we have Far Cry 5 E3 trailer videos and angry white people. So it goes from angry brown and white people to just angry white people, because the goddamn people in the game, the villains were all white, so then white people that weren't used to being villainized were angry and saying, well, I would rather be palming the heads of brown people than being the villains in the game. Now, you can't please everybody or anybody. You're gonna make somebody mad for something because they just want to be angry. They're angry, and they're just always angry, and they're gonna be angry about whatever you dish to them. And they made a little petition there on the internet and didn't get enough signatures. That was quite interesting there. Another debate discussion, and always makes for a interesting reveal. Controversy sells, and it's smart of them to push buttons and try to do something a little different, maybe controversial, that'll sell some copies and get people talking. That's what you want in a reveal, and Far Cry will bring that to you. So at number 2, we have the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon April Fool's Day teaser video on the website. So people didn't even know if Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon was real or not. This was before a lot of people like doing the April Fool's jokes, and that was like just an expected thing for people to do, and it was all a big joke, and the game was a big joke and everything like that. Well, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon was not a joke, man. That was a real game, and people didn't know what to think of it. Once again, similar to the controversial trailers and subject matter and what have you, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon got people talking. Is it real? Is it fake? What the heck is it? What are they doing? It looks like a goddamn VHS tape from the 80s. What are we doing here? But so that was very interesting there, and I gotta hand it to him for holding out, not leaking it like Far Cry Turkey and releasing that there on April Fool's Day, so people didn't know what the hell was going on there. Now at number 1, this one is special. Far Cry 3 E3 reveal. That's right, Far Cry 3 at E3. Why is this at number 1? Because it was the return of Far Cry after Far Cry 2 4 years ago. We had to wait 4 years from Far Cry 2 to Far Cry 3. People were losing their minds. I was getting so depressed. We didn't have a Far Cry for 4 years. God dang, it seemed longer than Trump's first 4 years. What the hell? So we finally got one there, and it was just beautiful, man. It was tropical. It was full of adventure and animals, and it was a step in a different direction for Far Cry, but it was a fun direction, and one that continues to this day here. But a lot of people do think that Far Cry 2 had something special. I think we still need to not forget about Far Cry 2. I know it was many years ago, but it was still a great reveal there at E3 for Far Cry 3. It kept the franchise going, at least. Maybe some people think it took a step back from Far Cry 2. Maybe some people think it took a step in the right direction. Either way, it kept the franchise going, and you gotta be happy about that, because we can always turn this ship around, and we can always avoid the iceberg, okay, anytime we choose to here. So that's the top 5 Far Cry reveals in my book. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Until next time, this has been Rusty Pfluger reporting for the game breaking news. Rusty Pfluger, over and out.